It is UFC 13. I'm doing
Chama,
my best.
baby. Chama.
Oh, we got a great card for everybody here. Where Jim and I are going to break down all the fights at UFC 13. We're going to get right into it. So hit the like button. Leave us a comment in the comment section. Tell us who you like. You know what? I'm not even going to say tell us who you like in the comment section. What's your best bet? Tell us who you like in the main event. This is a polarizing main event. Are you on Pereira? Are you on Ankalaev? Like, let us know. Fascinated to see what everybody's on. I feel like it is split right down the middle. We're going to break down that fight. We're going to break down everything else. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Jim, you want to give us a quick little recap of last? We do recaps. Last week was a 1-1 kind of blah, nothing. What happened last week?
Well, we hit our violence parlay, which is something we're going to look to really focus on going forward because they've been really good picking these select fights and getting these crazy numbers just down to a playable play just seems too damn easy. We lost on Ribovic with the split decision. I thought that he won. No bet included. Just thought that he won. It seems like a lot of other people thought that he won as well. Close fight. Half-Price did look good. Don't hate the play. Don't think we change anything. Really thought it was a razor close fight. Hit a couple really good live plays. We got Hyder Emil live. What was our other one that we hit live?
I hit Tamirov.
Timirov. Cape.
Oh my
another
God.
one that was early on that, like rock and roll. Let's go. So we hit some really good live plays, and again, they don't reflect on the record, but that's why it's important to tune into the live show on Saturday. Get these live reads, and man, are they profitable.
Yeah, the live bets. I was talking to Jim before this. I'm actually betting. I used to bet a lot more pre-fight than live, and now I'm betting the exact same.
Yeah,
the live
I
bets
dropped
are
the
great.
hammer
So
live.
if you want to join us on the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel, that's where we do Takedown Live, where we watch all the fights live and we give out the live bets. Guys, it takes one live bet to make your night really profitable. So, all right, let's get right into it here. This fight was just added here, Jim. Chris Gutierrez and John Castaneda. To me, this is the bet of the year, the bet of the millennium, the bet of a generation, the bet of mankind. Chris Gutierrez and John Castaneda. Surely you have the exact same bet that I do.
I do. Drum roll, please. And it is fight goes the distance.
Ain't nobody finishing anybody in this fight.
Chris Gutierrez is going to play footsies. We already know that. He's going to play footsies for 15 minutes. Castaneda is going to walk forward. He's going to try to wrestle. He's not going to be able to. And if he does, he's not going to do anything with it. There's going to be so much stall time in this fight. I don't see it going any other possible way. This has become, for a short notice fight, probably my favorite bet on the card. Is this fight over 2.5 or goes the distance? As far as DraftKings goes right now, we don't have it yet. The second that this comes out, I will have this in my bank account one way or another, parlayed or straight. We'll see what it comes out at.
This falls in the category of I don't care who wins.
Don't care.
Gutierrez could have a bunch of he could land 40 leg kicks. He's not going to finish him. Castaneda could land a bunch of wrestling. He's not submitting him. I don't care who wins. So yeah, when you have Gutierrez and Castaneda in a fight, yeah, this screams go the distance. So that's all we need to do with that one. Ozzy Diaz and Djorden Santos. Jim, we have a Contender Series debut, and we kind of like Santos, and we picked Santos as a big underdog on Contender Series. I will say a lot of it was because we had very big questions about his opponent, and those reared the ugly head. Will Curry is one of those guys that looks like a Greek god and fights like a mouse, in my opinion. So you got Ozzy Diaz, who I don't think we're very high on. Where do you see this fight going?
Ozzy Diaz is not good. Not good. Not only is he not good, he jumps weight classes like crazy. Middleweight, light heavyweight. Now this fight is at middleweight. This is where he was the LFA champion. Hot take here. LFA is not that good. I'm done hanging. Everybody wants to be happy about LFA. LFA is not good. They just don't crank out a good product. There's so many other organizations now that I think LFA has become very watered down. It is not the minor leagues to the UFC. It just flat out is not. So look, Ming Yang Zhang, not the best fighter in the world. He made it look pretty easy against Ozzy. Really easy. Bevon Lewis. If you're not familiar with Bevon Lewis, I've been watching Bevon Lewis for a long time. Over the hill is not the word for Bevon Lewis, okay? Totally different fighter. Totally different fighter. This Chuck Campbell, this guy's a journeyman joke. Other than that, he fights Joe Pyfer and gets smoked. All right.
That was the infamous B. Joe Pyfer.
Yeah, yeah. He's gonna swing. He doesn't have the chin to hold up. And I think that not only that, let's remember that this guy didn't get a win on a contender series to get to the UFC. This is I lost and then I get a shot. So what do we do with those guys? We fade them as much as we can. I don't care if I go 1-2 fading these guys. I will fade every fighter who fights on contender, doesn't get a contract, and somehow makes it to the UFC. Not a problem. I am good. I'm sure lifetime I will be way up. So for me, I'm fading Ozzy Diaz. I think that this could probably not go the distance, knowing that Ozzy gets hit and the chin is not that good. I actually hate that it's down at middleweight, even though it's his natural weight class, because I can't do this weight jumping stuff, man. Pick a division. If you're weight jumping at these weight classes, you're just trying to fight. You're trying to fight, you're trying to make money, and you're not serious about your career. If you were really serious about your career, you'd stay in your best weight division and try to stack wins. So I think Santos really pieces him up. Round 2, round 3, knockout for Santos.
Wow, Jim, you're on something tonight. Jim is not messing around. He's got the White Claw.
I got the drinks queued up tonight. We're rolling.
Yeah, so Jordan Santos. Listen, I made a joke about Will Curry fighting like a mouse. That was our big concern in that he is this big muscular guy who has all the tools. It just doesn't seem to quite have that edge to him. And Santos did on Contender Series. He absolutely did. He stuffed takedowns. He showed good cardio. He showed good striking. Like Will Curry is like look, he is a strong.
We're gonna hear from Will
shredded-
Curry again.
I hope we do. He's only 26. I hope that wasn't the best we see from him. Like it was. He hasn't fought since then. He does have a fight coming up here pretty soon. I would love to see him get better because he's got all the tools. He just couldn't put it together. And Santos put on, I guess I would call it a veteran looking performance where like saw the weaknesses. I'm with you. It's Santos all day. This Ozzy Diaz, I didn't buy Ozzy Diaz for a second in LFA. You go back and you look at these fights against Lewis and Campbell, and they are not that impressive. And this LFA thing's a real thing, man.
Yeah.
Fading these guys coming in off of LFA. I don't even know what is the JV league of UFC. I don't think there is
It's
one.
Contender Series.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's Contender Series is better than half of these organizations. And the problem is there's such a large amount of the product now that everybody's organization is getting whittled down or watered down.
Yeah. That's a great point. There's so many organizations. You have these guys coming in and say, well, who's good? I don't know. All right, Mairon Santos, Francis Marshall. Interested in your take on this one, Jim. Who you got?
Oh, I'm going to stick with Santos, man. We just went with Santos. I'm going with Santos again. I've been a fan of Marion Santos before many other people were a fan of Marion Santos. I have watched this kid back in LFA. And look, he's got skills. I love the counter striking and the combinations. What I love about Santos is he finds openings. He doesn't just take what the other fighter is going to give him. He is a great step away, right hand, left hand combo. His striking is fantastic. Cardio's on point. Takedown defense is getting better fight by fight by fight by fight. And he's one of those guys that, like, I wouldn't be shocked to see a year from now him have the grappling advantage in fights because he's a sponge. Young kid, fights out of a good gym, 14-1 Brazilian prospect. Okay, wins the Ultimate Fighter. And he's going up against Francis Marshall, who just has not lived up to the billing. It's that simple. William Gomes split after that fight last week. Looks pretty good. Isaac Dolgarian, no shame in that. Dennis Bazukia, guy suspended now for the UFC for fighting fans. So we can go down this. His win is Connor Matthews. We just saw what happened to Connor Matthews. Marcelo Rojo was a finisher or killer be killed fighter. So his wins are they're really not beating anybody who has a threat or skill gap with him. there's going to be a skill gap on the feet here with Santos. So I think Marshall's going to try to push the wrestling, and if he can't get it, which I assume, he's going to be stuck on the feet with Santos. So I really, really like Santos in this spot. I actually wouldn't mind the Santos parlay here to start the night. Give me Marion Santos. Maybe TKO, but probably by decision.
I've had some great reads on fighters in UFC. Kyle Borrallo has been well documented. Carlos Olberg are the two. As good as I've been with those guys, I've been the opposite on Francis Marshall. I really, really liked him. I thought he was going to come in and do really well. I had him over Rojo, and to be honest, he didn't look great in the first round, but he gets a knockout, and then I fell for it. And by the way, this split against Gomes, that was when Gomes was not very good. Gomes is
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Gomes has like blown through the roof with his improvement, and I got to give him all the credit in the world because I did not think he was all that. And the split decision, Gomes was winning early and just kind of held on. Francis Marshall scared to do the wrestling, and then he just gets overwhelmed by Bulgarian. I mean, he just, and then come on, a split decision against Bazooki. That's awful. That's awful.
Bad luck.
And Francis Marshall is kind of the same way. He reminds me of Will Curry.
Yeah.
All the tools. We watch his film. It's there. The potential is there. He just can't put it all together. And I'm not betting on a guy that, cannot put it together. Because my reads have been so bad on Francis Marshall, I've been right once on him. I am banned from betting my own money and your own money on Francis Marshall. So you ignore my opinion on this fight. So I'm not even going to give it to you. I will say credit to Mairon Santos. He did what he was supposed to do against Khan Awfully. Just stayed out of harm's way for the first round and then bang, gets the knockout. So credit to him because, he was coming off Ultimate Fighter. He looked good in Ultimate Fighter. And then, getting your UFC debut under the lights against a guy that you should beat, sometimes that can be really, really tough. And he left no doubt. Like he dominated, from start to finish. So Jim, like Santos, I will abstain. Alex Morono and Carlos Leal. Jim, we know Carlos Leal very well from him. I have seen my share cases of back knee that can. Carlos Leal had one for the ages going in there, but Carlos Leal very, very well from the PFL days. So he's the biggest favorite on the card. We think he dog walks Murata. So tell us a little bit about Carlos Leal.
A really tough striker. If I had to sum up what Carlos Leal is, I would say he's going to fight very similar to Hyder Emil from last week, where he is going to be in Morono's face the entire fight. He is a way better striker than Hyder Emil. Okay. Great power, great leg kicks, good cardio, finds a rhythm, fights at a pace where he's always in your face. Not afraid to wrestle, but not a real big proponent of his game. Will cage grapple and do damage in the cage, good clinch work. We've seen him in PFL go up against some really good guys and look very impressive. To me, this was a huge ball drop by PFL, letting him walk. I don't understand why we let Carlos Leal walk from PFL unless we knew that there was an offer on the table. Leaves PFL, goes to LFA.
He went to UAE and LFA, so it wasn't like he had this big offer from somewhere else. You lost twice to Sadabu C, guy that wins that's won the tournament.
That was not old man Sadabu.
No,
either.
No,
he was at his legit weight class.
Yeah. I'm stunned that nobody gobbled this guy up.
Yeah, it's wild. Everybody feels like he got robbed against Fakhretdinov. Now that's the thing with Leal is against a wrestler or somebody who can mystify him and get him off his game, he can lose fights. He's got 6 losses for a reason. Alex Morono ain't that guy. We have been shooting arrows at Alex Morono for 2 years now? We've been waiting for this chin to crack. We've been waiting for everything, and he's been getting by these decisions. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 decisions in a row. Going way back to the Tim Means where he gets a finish and he gets knocked out by Santiago Ponzinibbio in round 3. Other than that, decision. This is a stay of execution. This is thank you for fighting Renat Fakhretdinov on short notice. Here is old man Morono with pillow fists who refuses to grapple. He is going to dance around on his twinkle toes. One of the best quotes I heard in the last pay-per-view. I forget who they were talking about. Oh, Jimmy Crute. Say fights like he's walking on Legos. And I would most certainly put Alex Morono in that category. He fights like he's walking on Legos. And Carlos Leal, if he touches the chin of Morono, is going to put him out. I do not see him being able to fight through this. This was a bet that I actually placed myself as the under 2.5. I think this fight ends to get off that number with Carlos Leal. We'll see what the finish prop is. This is Leal by finish. Morono does not have much tread left on these tires.
I'm with you 100% on this one. I mean, he lost to Daniel Rodriguez and Nico Price in back-to-back. Look at his wins. Court McGee, who's, about done. Tim Means, about done. Selmelsberger, who is done. Mickey Gall, who appears to be done. David Zawada. Donald Cerrone, the corpse of Donald Cerrone. McKee. Like, it's just, wow.
Yeah, it's alarming.
You go back and you're like, wow, these wins really aren't that impressive. And the loss to Ponzinibbio, I'll give him a pass on that one because he took it on 2 days' notice. He was literally sitting on a couch. But yeah, this to me falls in the category of old fighter that's done. He's done. You can't lose to Nico Price and Daniel Rodriguez.
The Nico Price thing is the worst. Like Rodriguez still
terrible.
has a chin, but you're losing a decision to Nico Price. I mean, that's just no, not in 2025.
I'm with you 100% on that one. So I think we agree on that one. It's Carlos Leal big time. So we're Carlos Leal fans. I gotta say, Renat Fakhretdinov is a nightmare on short notice.
Yes.
Yes. This guy's cardio goes forever. You're not going to tire out Fakhretdinov. Mm-hmm. He's just going to keep coming. So for Leal to not only make it so close to where everyone thought he won, but just even make it close was a hell of a performance. And do we deem this a thank you?
Oh, for sure.
Leal?
Yeah, this is the thank you. Yeah.
When these UFC guys come in and they take a short notice fight and they save a fight, UFC says, thank you. Here's your next fight or two. And I feel
they did not sign him to come in and lose.
No way. So, all right. We got Brunno Ferreira and Armen Petrosyan. Jim, this strikes me as a one-hitter quitter versus volume. And whoever implements a game plan gets the win. What do you think?
So it was a little alarming. I picked Armen to be the guy to dethrone Shara. That was going to actually get the W there. I was pretty bullish on that. And I didn't think it was going horrible till it went horrible. So he got hit with one of those moves that just freaking happens, man. It just happens.
No, it doesn't just happen. It's never happened.
But that's a just happen. It just shit happens. Right. If there's a T-shirt with shit happens, there'll be a picture of the double spinning back fist. Shit just happens. I've been hit with stuff in sparring where you're like, dude, you haven't thrown that in 15 years. I don't know how you pulled that off. And that was one of those. However, it didn't work out well. So it didn't work out well with his W. What was alarming to me was Armen's cardio did not look fantastic. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Was this the same card that they had the paint problem?
I believe this was the card that they had the paint problem, and it's way overseas. There's travel issues. It's hot, and so you're in Shara's world.
Now we haven't. He was not one of the ones that stated that they were dealing with the fume issue and from the fresh paint in the dressing room and everything. So we don't know. But I'll tell you this.
Was this the one?
I thought it was, right?
I don't think this was.
Wasn't it?
This was not the one.
Oh,
no, it was because it was the same one. Leal and Fakhretdinov. My memory of this was how ridiculously hot it was in the arena. That was my memory of
with
this
that
one,
card where it was a lot of decisions, right?
Yeah.
Something was up there. Look, Armen's never really showed major cardio problems, so I'm not going to really hold that too much against him. If his cardio holds up against Brunno, I think he schools Brunno. Like, I don't think Bruno Ferreira is that good, guys. I really don't. I think we could be looking at him as an absolute fraud. You cannot get choked out by a Boost Magomed. Do
In
we
the third.
realize how bad this is?
In the third. Not like
And if
Abu's
he
not
doesn't,
exactly known for his 3-round cardio.
and if he doesn't knock Dustin Stoltzfus out in round one, guess what? Stoltzfus wins that fight 29-28. If he doesn't knock out Phil Hawes in round one, God knows what happens because it's a Phil Hawes fight. Loses to Rudzaboyev, who that was the easiest paycheck you could ever receive.
Mm-hmm.
Throw a right hand down the pipe and just don't move your head when you throw a leg kick. Not a good idea. So I don't understand.
Getting torched by
love.
Gregory Rodriguez till he lands the counter punch from hell.
Yeah, the mythical punch, the mythical jab. I just don't buy this Bruno Ferreira guy, man. I just don't. And I know Armen's on some rough times, but if it's not a first round knockout and it's not Ferreira holding him down, I think Petrosyan dog walks him in round 2 and 3 and just puts a veteran classy performance on.
I think I tend to lean in that direction. It's so hard depending on these guys with the one shot power that don't have a very good diversification of skill set. Like Ken Ferreira, does he have the touch that can knock anybody out? Yes, 100% he does. But I don't like betting on these guys where I'm dependent on like one thing, which is one crazy, knockout. Like Petrosyan, who's he lost to? Okay, double spinning back fist against Shara. That's crazy. Rodolfo Vieira, completely different skill set from
totally understandable.
From Brunno. Kaio,
Totally
completely different, like skill set. So you got to go back to 2021 at AMC Fight Nights to where he gets sparked by a by a big time punch. So I'm going to lean with Petrosyan. I will say he's hurt my feelings. Petrosyan has. We haven't talked it out yet. I hope sometime me and Armen can
We're in
talk.
a fight, but he doesn't know.
That's exactly right. We're in an argument and he doesn't know it. But I will stay away from this. I'm not going to. Because what's tough about this, I can't even take a total because
No, I don't want to bet
going
this
under.
Like,
but if Petrosyan wins, it's like honestly, if you want to bet it, you could almost take Petrosyan by decision or Ferreira by KO.
It's a live bet, is what it is. It's a live. If you miss in round 1, big whoop. Okay. But you watch round 1. If it gets out of round 1, you live bet Petrosyan.
It's Petrosyan all day. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So, all right, we're gonna talk Rei Tsuruya and Josh Van. Where do you stand on this one, Jim?
Well, first we look at the rankings. Flyweight number 29, flyweight number 14, worldwide rankings. Once you start getting up to 15, top 15, you're on your way. Right? You're outside the top 20, you're trying to break your way in. And if we look at this graphic, Andy, you'll pick this out in a second. I have confidence in you. What's the one thing that's sticking out to me here?
For Rei Tsuruya?
Yep.
Well, it's
a number.
Well, it's a number?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, career disclosed earning. No, I don't know. I'm just looking at these road to UFC guys and him fighting deep 100 Impact and deep 104 Impact and Pancreas. I'm calling it Pancreas 329. I don't want to say numbers, but I've never heard of these people.
Yeah.
What's the number that I'm missing?
The 0.
Oh, the 0.
It's the 0.
I missed
guys.
it. Yeah, the undefeated.
The 0. Josh Van's lost his O. Tsuruya still got his O. It's 22 years old. Still got his O. I don't see it happening. And you hit the nail on the head with the strength of competition. Tsuruya's a great fighter. He's a very good fighter, good, young, 22 years old, plenty of room to grow, right? But he's not going to retire undefeated. And he's going up against a guy who is ahead of him in the growing pains, pay your dues process of being a professional fighter. Josh Van has been through it. Josh Van has been winning a fight and gotten KO'd in round 3. Josh Van has lost a decision. Josh Van has done it all. He's won decisions. He's won by finish. He's come back from losing. He's done it all already. And Rei has not had to face this at all yet. He's had a very, very hand-picked matchup. It's a market that the UFC wants to get into. They have Tatsuro Taira. They're looking for the next guy. They thought it was Nakamura till he decided to be a striker and piss away a fight.
That
Idiot.
was
Had the marketing
most
machine behind him and decided to
ridiculous.
get an L. So inexcusable. Tsuruya, the striking is going to be a problem, man. If he can't hold Van down for 3 rounds, Josh Van is going to put volume. The stat that we talked about, we were talking the other day, and 4 to 5 significant strikes is considered damn good. Damn good.
Per minute.
Yeah, per minute. You know what Josh Van throws? 8.5 significant strikes per minute. That is a stupid amount of volume. Stupid. The kid does not get tired. Round 3, he is a freaking nightmare. A nightmare. And if Rei can't get the takedown, it's going to be a long night for him. I think this is a guy who's a step ahead in their growth compared to a very young prospect.
Yeah, this is pretty easy. Rei Tsuruya has got to get the takedown. If he doesn't, I don't want to say his striking is laughable because he's in the UFC and he's won a bunch of, but his striking on the feet is laughable. It's not good at all. And you're going up against Josh Van, who I'm not a big Josh Van fan, but I will tell you, his fight against Edgar Chairez was insane.
Mm-hmm.
He showed the durability and toughness of a champion in that one. And then what I love about Van here is he fought Cody Djorden, who I think's better than Rei Tsuruya. I think their styles are similar. Djorden probably wants to get it to the ground. His striking's not that good. And Josh Van, after the first round, absolutely obliterated Djorden. Stuffed all the takedowns. So Tsuruya I'm going to say not if Tsuruya can't get it. When Tsuruya can't get it to the ground, like forget it. I think it's over. I think this is Josh Van who beats up Tsuruya pretty good. So
you could snag a great live line on Van in the first if Rei gets the takedown. Or look, Van by decision is plus 140. What's your opinion on the total on this? This goes to decision, right?
No, I think Van can knock him out.
Really? Okay.
I think Tsuruya's striking is that bad, and I think his level. This is a guy who beat Carlos Hernandez in the first 2 rounds and then lost the third easily. Like,
true.
Was done. He was done. He had no cardio. He didn't have the wrestling. He didn't have the takedown. Carlos Hernandez laid on top of him in round 3. If you're struggling in round 3 against Carlos Hernandez on the ground, Josh Van isn't going to take you down. Josh Van is going to stand you up on the feet and piece you up. And Josh Van has cardio. He is all good on that one. So I think it's Van. I think Tsuruya gets handed his first loss. I absolutely love this play. So real quick, guys, want to talk about some of the specials that we have going on. Listen, we know what's going on the stock market. So we decided to run a special when the markets crash, we still cash. May sound goofy, may sound a little corny, but the fact is, listen, Jim, you're already laughing. You're not helping me sell this. Listen, the fact is, I love sports betting for a multitude of reasons. One of them, it's recession proof. It doesn't matter what's going on in the stock market or what's going on in the world. There's bets, there's lines. You pick them, you either win or you lose. And what we've done over the last few years is we've won and we've obliterated the returns that you get on the stock. 91% in 2023, 128% in 2024, and 43% in 2025. We treat this like a business. This is passive income, which is what all of us entrepreneurs are looking for. And we've proven it time and time again. Short term, long term. And Jim, you always stress long term is what we look at. We lose a couple plays, we don't care. Why? Because at the end of the year, we're going to be up really, really big. I sat in a meeting with my mom's financial advisor and my mom, and he was so happy that he made her 9% last year. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I did that on Saturday. So help me out here. Long term, Like, what more do we have to do to tell people this is a great way to do it? And I know what the industry is, and I know what people think, but this is completely different.
Look, here's I'll be very frank about this because we've talked about this over the couple weeks and have been tried to be very respectful about it. The fact of the matter is most people that do this lose their ass. Okay. And you can sit here and say, not me, not me. You're full of shit. Everybody loses their ass at least once or twice when they start this out. Okay.
I have
Ditto.
ditto.
All right.
Yeah.
Everybody has. And it's the only way you learn. The way that you're profitable in this business is learning. And we've done the learning for you. We know that if we're going to be on a 14-2 run, it's unsustainable. It's time to gear back. If you want to learn how to do this and be stress free, that's the biggest thing. This should be enjoyable, folks. You should be having fun with this and making money. You don't want to be sweating a 2% play on a Thursday because you know you're going to be able to make it back up. It's okay. It's ebbs and flows. Go with the long term. Invest in somebody. Again, you're going to get all of us, and you're going to get us betting every single play that we put out with our own money. Sometimes people want to vent. Look, we're just as mad as you when we lose, all right? But the difference is we get back to work. We don't dwell on it. We don't drag it out. We get right back to work the next day because us being on these other sports that nobody else is paying attention to, everyone's like, oh, what are we going to do without football? This is our busy season. We're all running ragged right now, okay? There are so many opportunities outside the market. When all the sheep go one way, you got to go the other way. Don't be one of the sheep, okay? Make some money, invest in yourself, invest in us. We'll make you money long term.
The special is buy 2 months and get one free. I've decided I'm not running specials on one play. I'm done with that. One play is such a small sample size. We want you guys to experience a much longer term play of what we can offer to you. So if you want to take your business to the next level, you want to take your bankroll to the next level, invest in us. Buy 2 months, get one free. It's over at Wager Talk. Just go to Andy Lang's page. And don't forget to join the Discord, the Winning in the Shadows Discord. I will put the link to that in the comment section as a pinned comment. So you guys can join us there. You can see what we're all about. This is not something that we just started. This is something that we've been doing for years. So full transparency, we do recaps every single week. And you can see it's just making money can be boring. And that's perfectly fine with us. That's how we do it. We're not firing off huge plays on nationally televised games. We're firing off small plays here and there. We're picking apart the markets on these soft lines that the books just are not recognizing where the value is. So take advantage of that. WT.buzz/AL. All right, let's move on to Curtis Blaydes and Kuniev. I will tell you right now, Jim, I'm stunned that the over 2.5 is plus money on this. I think this could be just kind of one of those wrestle fests, even though both guys are finishers. I'm interested in your take on this one. I'm leaning towards the over on this one.
I hate to burst your bubble, but of all the strong opinions that I have on this card, I don't know what the hell to do with this fight.
It's a weird one.
I have no idea what I'm going to get from Curtis Blaydes. Like, I just, when he loses, he gets smoked. When he wins, he looks like he could be a title challenger. I have no idea what to do with Curtis. Kuniev, coming off the steroid thing, gets to the UFC now. UFC's
the steroid thing.
All the steroids.
The steroids thing.
The thing is, they're not testing now. So, like, you can't even be like, oh, he's a former, like, he's not on the juice. Like, no, he's on the juice. He is. Carlos Leal is a good doctor. Okay. We want to bet on the guys on steroids. I just don't know what the hell to do, dude. I really don't. I don't have a great opinion. My gut tells me that this is the fight where you're like, oh my God, Kuniev's horrible, and Curtis Blaydes just mauls him on the ground. But can we trust Curtis Blaydes to wrestle? And we can't. So I kind of want no part of these jokers. I really don't.
It's fine to pat. Listen, losing to Tom Aspinall, fine. Listen, he was getting his ass whooped by Jailton Almeida.
Yeah.
Jailton Almeida shoots in, and Blaydes just hits him with elbows. And instead of disengaging, Almeida sticks his head in there and just gets knocked out. There should be 3 losses in a row. Now, that being said, if he loses that one. You're losing to Aspinall, Almeida, and Pavlovich on the feet. No shame in that game. But I don't know. His wins, Aspinall tears his knee. He beats a Dawkins. Rosenstrike by decision. Volkov, this one is aged really, really well.
That's a different Volkov, though.
Completely different.
Totally
Volkov.
different Volkov.
Yeah. I go back to, I think this fight is going to resemble what we saw against Renan Ferreira. Where Kuniev just pushed him up against the fence, held him there. I think that's what Blaydes is going to try and do. I think that's Kuniev is going to try and do as well. I like the over in this one. I don't care who wins because there's a lot of unknowns. Not sure if it's going to make the client card, but if I was really surprised at plus money at over 2.5. I figured the books would look at this and be like, okay, you got two guys that can wrestle, that can grapple. But listen, you go back to all the finishes on both guys. I guess it makes sense. I like.
I'll put it this way: I'm definitely not betting Curtis Blaydes as a favorite. That's not
as a minus almost like what is it 350?
It's ridiculous.
Point.
It's ridiculous. You don't know what is going on in this man's head. Is the problem?
Yeah. All right, King Green and Mauricio Ruffy. I'll let you go first on this one. Who do you like?
So you're going to see me. This starts my in-depth look here. With all fighters, we choose certain professions in life. Okay, whether you're a lawyer, you're a mechanic, you're work for the road department, you're a fighter. And whatever professions we choose, we leave pieces of ourselves along the way. We just do. I can't do the same thing at the shop that I used to, as far as workload. It's just the way it is. I can't fight like I used to. It's just the way it is. Bobby Green has 40 plus fights. Now, this is an MMA fighter. You are just not the same. Every single time that you step into the cage, you take a year off your life, 6 months off your life. We're talking death. Like, you only have so much you can use up as a professional fighter. And Bobby's used a lot of it. A lot of it. This loss to Paddy Pimblett really showed kind of the downfall. I thought he looked uninterested. He looked slow. His reaction time was horrible. And Bobby has always been one of the ones to be quicker to the punch. The win over Jim Miller was a tailor-made matchup. Jim has success in round one, not good on the cardio, breaks his hand early round one, which totally changes this fight. Keep in mind that Jim also landed 1 or 2 shots in round 1 and 2 that wobbled Bobby a little bit. I'm not sure if this gyro is 100% back from the Jalen Turner fight. I think Bobby's dealing with some stuff from the neck up. And going up against Ruffy, this guy is a sniper. So you're telling me, I know we went to decision in the last fight. I like seeing guys go to decision. I want to see you be able to win a decision. You can't just always get the first round knockout. He is one of the top at the Fighting Nerds. He's getting all the attention along with Kaio. Lontop got absolutely butchered that fight and refused to fall down. Other than that, everybody's fallen down. We have a 37-year-old fighter who's going to fight with his hands down against a long, rangy power puncher. How do you think this is going to go? This isn't breaking news. This recipe does not work. It does not work long term. Bobby better pull a rabbit out of his hat because I think Ruffy is going to get to that chin and he's going to get to it early, and we're going to be picking Bobby up off the campus again. And it's a shame. I love Bobby Green. Always entertaining, but you can't fight Father Time. Too much damage, too much tread on the tires, too little tread.
Name someone later in life that changed their name to something like King Green and has been really successful since.
Never
then.
Works out, does it?
It's like the haircut theory. I'm so out on King Green here. You look at his dog walked by Patty. Patty left no doubt. And it was triangle choke. Okay, got him on the ground, choked him out. All right. Gets win against, older Jim Miller, broken hand. Obliterated by Turner. Once in a lifetime shot against Grant Dawson, 30 seconds in. They fight that fight back 10 times. I think he loses 9 of them. Mm-hmm. Beats the corpse of Tony Ferguson. And look how he's losing here, Jim. Knocked out Jalen Turner.
Yeah.
Knocked out Thober. Ground and pound. Makachev. Like, even in
It's by
grappling,
finish.
it's
Yeah.
by finish. And we noticed in the last fight. Well, you want to talk about do the thing about cage time real quick and guys trying to go the
Oh,
distance.
with Ruffy? Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, people were furious. Oh my God, furious at Ruffy. He can't get a knockout. He's just playing around. Ruffy did everything he was supposed to do. He tried everything to get that knockout. What did he say? This guy ain't going anywhere. So I can, blow my gas tank trying to finish him, or I can just school the dude for 2 more rounds. Like,
yeah,
he got his cage time in. Look what would happen if he did not do that. You'd be looking at a round 1, a round 3, a round 2, a round 1. There's not a ton of cage time. And to be at the rankings that he's at, he has to be able to win decisions.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We've seen this with guys where it's pretty obvious where they're like, go in there and get your cage time. Just get your cage time in there. So I think that's what happened with Ruffing's last one. I don't think there's any messing around with this one. I hate the way Bobby fight. It was cool the way Bobby fights, like with his hands down, like way back when. Doesn't look as great now these days. All right, I think we're going to disagree on this one. Amanda Lemos, Asman Lucindo, the floor is yours, sir.
Can we go to Lemos first, please?
Yeah, of course. Let me get the
Perfect.
time codes in, and
So
we're going to Amanda Lemos.
going to Amanda first. So we have a 2 ships passing in the night kind of situation here. Amanda's age, she's what, 37?
37.
Right about that?
Yes.
37, right? So 37, already that kind of stacked against her. Late to MMA, late to the UFC, should I say? Even though she's got a good amount of fights on her, but she was not somebody that was brought up in the UFC. That fight against Wei Lee, I give her credit for hanging in there, but that was a one-sided, just ass kicking from Wei Lee, which is expected. The win against Djorden. This is post-divorce Djorden, mythical creature divorce Djorden. New boyfriend. She was quite happy. Life.
She did. She lost 2 in a row on the divorce tour. Her and Andrade met in the divorce tour, and then she lost right after that one.
Angela Hill was her first fight back, where she just
now
rage
I
beat
get to
Angela Hill.
unleash. Yeah.
She used it all up. Look, the Janjaroba is going to Janjaroba. I don't hold that against her, but 37 years old, and where is this mythical power of Amanda Lemos?
Mythical power.
Well, here's what we got. Look, we got a choke against Waterson Gomez, right? Not a knockout. Marina Rodriguez in round 3. Marina Rodriguez is one of the chinniest women fighters on the roster. If she had a chin, she'd be champion. Champion, man. Angela Hill, she goes to split. She doesn't finish Angie Hill. Angie Hill does what she does. She goes to splits. She doesn't finish Mackenzie Dern when McDermott has nothing on the feet. And then she gets smoked by Janjaroba on the ground. Did she knock out Janjaroba before she got taken down? No. So at 37 years old, I can't buy into the power of Amanda Lemos. And if I'm not going to see the power, then I'm going to go with the younger fighter that I know is going to have cardio in round 3 and is going to push forward and throw volume. If either of these women are going to cage grapple, guess what? It's Lucindo. It's not going to be Amanda Lemos. She's not going to grapple and hold Lucindo up against the cage. She wants to strike at range and conserve her cardio for the nuclear shot. And she's not going to have that option. Lucindo is going to stay in her face and be active. This girl has gotten better and better and better. Now, this is a huge step up in competition. She's got to mind her P's and Q's because, not to take everything away from Amanda, she's got power. Like, if you walk into that right hand, you are screwed, okay? But I just think that the younger fighter, the better cardio, I don't see a massive size difference that I'm worried about. I think Lucindo's got the edge in the grappling. She's got the edge in the cardio more than anything. I'll take Lucindo in this. I think she wins a decision.
I'm going to go with Amanda Lemos.
This was going to be the one this week, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, split decision against Rodriguez. You pounded Rodriguez. Chinny.
Yep.
So Lucindo barely beats her. Lucindo did get some takedowns, did nothing with it. Marina Rodriguez just laid there and took it. I love Lucindo. I actually think she's going to be a champ one day. She's that good.
Mhm.
You talked about age, 37, being a little bit older. 23
It's a big
is
one.
so young. I went back and watched the Rodriguez fight, and I thought I saw some younger like mistakes, maybe not quite there. Listen, she lost to Wargi, and now she was, a baby back then.
Mhm.
She's still kind of a, baby in as far as UFC terms. But all right, beating Brogan Walker, whatever. Brogan Walker stinks. They were friends. Playing in Vienna, not that good. Kovacevic, I thought was really, really impressive, and Marina Rodriguez by split. Again, when we talk about splits, one judge goes another
Mhm.
way, that could be a loss. I think Lemos still has gas in the tank. I still think her power is still there. She never got a chance because, like you said, Jandaroba pushed her up. It was a classic Jandaroba
Yep.
fight where it's like, you're not going to even get a chance to hit me. Like, you're not like, so Mackenzie Dern, that second round, you saw the power of Lemos absolutely brutalize the face of Mackenzie Dern. I think this first round, Lucindo is going to be like, I've never seen strikes like this.
Mm.
I think it's going to throw her game plan off. I think she may want to try and get takedowns. I'm not sure she can totally get them. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lemos gets a takedown or two on Lucindo. I think Lemos comes out really, really strong and flusters Lucindo a little bit. We've seen Lucindo flustered a few times. But remember, I don't know if you remember, but in Rodriguez, like she was on top and like the ref like made her like stand up because they were like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you're rubbing your chin in her eye,"
Yes.
and the ref like an asshole was just like screaming at her in English, and she's like, I,
Yeah, she had
he's
no
like,
clue what she
he's
did
like,
wrong.
he's like, don't, I saw it because he had an Australian accent too.
Mhm.
So you got, you got, don't you stick your chin in her eye. And Lucinda was like, what is going on right here? I think she's young enough to where she needs some adversity, and I think she gets some adversity here. Now, my bankroll is hoping that Lucinda loses.
Oh, of
Jim,
course.
if she
Yeah,
loses,
yeah,
brother,
yeah.
we are loading up on the
Yeah.
next fight at Lucindo. So this is one of those where my gut is telling me that Lemos is going to make this very, very close. And I think the veteran has one more run in her. I think Lemos is still going to get a few more wins in UFC before she's done. And yes, my bankroll is hoping that Lucindo wins because a loss for Lucindo. She's going to go back to training camp and learn. They're going to give her a little bit of step down, and she's going to come out and obliterate
Yes.
her next opponent. So let's go head to head. I got Lemos in this one. You got Lucindo. Jalen Turner and Ignacio Bahamondes. If you like betting on fighters with bad cardio and bad IQ, Jalen Turner is your guy. Jim, where do you stand on this one?
Oh God. That's right, Stan. Jalen Turner. Is he ever going to be what we want him to be? No, he's
He
not.
he could be champ
Andy, 14-8.
with with
14 and
with
8.
with some of the most incredible skills in all of UFC. It doesn't
He's
it
28
doesn't
years
add up.
old in the
He's 1
UFC.
and 3 in his last
14-8.
4. He's 1 and every time we see him, you're like, this guy's champ material. Wow, he lost to Moicano. Uh,
Lost to Dan Hooker. Had Dan Hooker unconscious in the first. Loses the fight.
had Moicano unconscious in the first.
God. God,
Uh,
that Gamrot split. I remember getting a good big bet on Gamrot after 5 minutes because like, well, he didn't get the knockout, so I'm gonna go with him to make enough mistakes to where Gamrot's gonna win. I just can't get behind this guy. Now, the problem is he's fighting Ignacio Bahamondes, who may be one of the more hittable guys at this weight class, which I can't stand. That
okay.
is a huge, huge problem for me. That he is so hittable. Does super impressive against Manuel Torres. To take that guy
Yeah.
out, that is a feat because he is going to either take your head off or you're going to have to take his off. Christos Giagos. One of my absolute favorite fades was Christos Giagos. I cannot tell you how much money I've made against him. The
You're-
loss against Ludovic Klein. That
you're
was the
like-
emergence of Klein.
yeah,
Oh, Christos.
he fought Sarukian. Do you believe that?
Dude. Huge bet. Huge bet. Moises, huge bet against him.
And then they give him Ricky Glenn.
Ricky Glenn teaching
And then-
jiu-jitsu in Iowa,
and then,
right?
By the way, here's two long, rangy power
Yeah.
punchers in Zohibir and Bahamundas.
So we saw how they went.
Yeah.
I just both these guys are hittable. I think both of them can make mistakes. I have figured out how I want to bet this fight, though.
Okay.
As much as I hate it, I figured out how I'm going to bet it. Unfortunately, I am waiting to 2 minutes into the first round. I think I'm going to know really early what the hell we're going to get out of this fight. The bottom line is if Jalen Turner doesn't get a finish, you have to bet Ignacio Bahamondes. Because Jalen Turner is going to find a way to lose a fight. He is. The length being very similar is a problem for both guys because they're both used to having height advantages. I think this is going to open up their offense for both gentlemen. And we could probably see a late finish here. I think one of these guys slips on a banana peel in round 2. And I'm leaning that it's Turner slipping on the banana peel. But I will wait and watch it and decide where to go from there.
I lean Bahamundes just because it's Jalen Turner. Like all the tools in the world, I just can't put it together. It's really, really frustrating to watch him because you're like, you should be one of the greatest. You shouldn't be that guy being 1-3 in his last 4 fights in his prime is just it just feels like it's unacceptable. So
who's our guy that lost the other week, but he was the dog?
Oh, the guy. Yes, the shorter.
Fernandez? Was it Fernandez?
No, he's got that dog. Jesus Aguilar.
Jesus Aguilar. Can we take Jesus
if
Aguilar and put him in Jalen Turner?
He would be undefeated. You couldn't touch him.
Unbeatable.
You couldn't touch him. If Aguilar got that dog in him, was in Turner, you're right. He would be untouchable. He would be Aspinall. Like he'd be rolling through guys. So yeah, I'm with you. Live bet. I will wait to the end of round 1. If it gets to the end of round 1, I don't even need to look at the line. It's Bahamundes. It's Bahamundes all day. So Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev, short notice and a rematch. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out why Justin Gaethje is the underdog. What is your take?
Can we so let's talk about these guys. When you're done with the timestamp, just go on Gaethje.
Gaethje first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is kind of what I was talking about with Bobby Green. He just happened to be earlier on the card. Justin Gaethje has entertained us for a very, very long time.
Oh my gosh.
And that is a man that will just leave everything in the octagon. Keep scrolling down. Was it Palomino? Keep going.
Oh,
there you
Luis
go.
Palomino.
If you have not seen Justin Gaethje against Luis Palomino, do yourselves a favor and go watch those 2 fights. And that is the embodiment of what Justin Gaethje and who Justin Gaethje is. Going back to Melvin Gillard, I knew this guy and heard all about him and was dying for him to get into the UFC. And I'll never forget when he finally got the call. I remember telling my friends saying, watch this. That's all you have to say. Not what he does, just watch that. When this guy fights, you tune in. You buy the pay-per-view. And he has not disappointed. But like anything, along the road of life, you leave pieces of yourself. You're not the same as you used to be. And if anybody embodies that, it is Justin the Highlight Gaethje. I am really worried that there is just a point which you're kind of done. This knockout against Max is terrifying for him. We don't know how he's going to react physically to getting hit. And we know Justin's going to get hit. Like that's not an option, right? Like that's what's going to happen is he's going to swing and get hit. Now, is Fiziev the guy? I don't know, but I don't know if he has to be. I would love to see a vintage Justin Gaethje performance But at his age, with the amount of damage that he's taken, and Justin, thank you for entertaining us for all these years. I don't know if he can still hang. What I think benefits him is the fact that this is a 3-round fight. If this was 5 rounds, I'd be really worried in 4 and 5 for both guys. The fact that this is 3 rounds, I kind of like this fight to go the distance. And I wouldn't be shocked to see Fiziev with his hand raised. All depends if Justin's chin is going to hold up. So no bet for me. I plan on being a fan 1,000% on this fight. I will have no money on this fight.
The disrespect to Gaethje being a dog is ridiculous, and I will happily bet this one. Like, lost to Holloway, lost to Oliveira, lost to Khabib. Oh, come on. And the knockout against Holloway, he didn't get knocked out until they went and stood in the middle of the ring and threw haymakers, and it was like kill or be killed. Oliveira, he didn't get knocked out. He got choked out. Choked out against Khabib. Like, he has 1 knockout loss. You have to go back to 2018. So for me to say, oh, he's chinny, I don't buy that. And to be honest, I think Fiziev is, I'll say it, I think he's overrated. I'm not impressed with him. Like, okay, knocks out Dos Anjos, great. Brad Riddell, okay, great. Nice, wheel kick. King Green, Bobby Green. Again, we just dissected Bobby Green. His fight against Moicano, this was way back when Moicano was not nearly the guy he was. And fact is, I just thought Fiziev got his ass kicked against Gaethje last time. So now you're asking Fiziev, what happened after that? Well, he had a brutal injury against Gamrot, and he hasn't fought since then. So coming off of a big injury, and by the way, these guys coming off of these injuries, this is not age well at all. What does he change? Like, I went back and watched that fight, and the announcer was like, "Oh, the body shots of Fiziev." Like, give me a break. Gaethje was. It's not like Gaethje was like, "Oh no, oh no, another body shot from Fiziev. I just landed 4 to your face." I think the kicks of Gaethje. I just don't think. I don't think Fiziev has anything for him. Short notice. By the way, quite a fight to knock the rust off of an injury.
It's a tough spot. It's a
brutal spot. It's a brutal spot. So, like, UFC, they needed somebody to step in. Credit to him. I think this is a bad decision to jump in and take this fight. If you're Fiziev, I think you want to be like, no, you're gonna give me somebody a lot less lethal than Justin Gaethje. I have Gaethje at plus money, and again, I do not understand why he is always the underdog. He's always the underdog. It feels
like. Against Poirier, that was a good spot.
He's always the underdog.
Let me ask you this. Does this smell a little bit of, hey, man, thanks for taking the fight. Let's give him a show.
Yes.
Let's not kill each other.
Yeah. Oh, no. Gaethje doesn't do that.
Do you think Gaethje only...
No, Gaethje and Fiziev don't do that. No. They don't. No way. No, they're going to go out and put on a show.
Okay.
This is the Gaethje and Holloway. This is Gaethje and Ferguson. This is the Gaethje that obliterated. No, he doesn't do that. So it's violence, and I think Gaethje is going to be too much. Plus money, hell yes. All right, main event, and then we're going to do the Parlay Buster and the Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda. Remind everybody that on the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel on Friday, we're going to do the Method of Victory video where Jim and I pick each fight. And we're going to tell you who's going to win and how they're going to win. We do our power rankings. But before we get to that... Kudalaba! Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev, 5 rounds. Is this just as simple as Ankalaev by decision and Pereira by knockout? What do you think?
I don't believe so. I actually think this fight, just to not go the distance, is a fantastic bet.
Okay.
Either side. This is Ankalaev's shot. The UFC has done everything in their absolute power to make this guy's road difficult. And let's be real, Ankalaev has done everything within his own power to make his path to the title as difficult as possible.
You only get one chance, one shot. Mom's spaghetti.
Well, apparently Ankalaev gets plenty, and he just screws
mom's spaghetti because you only get one shot. You better lose yourself in the moment.
Oh, I'll tell you this:
you ain't getting another shot, brother.
He's done if he loses this one. He's never sniffing this title shot again. Look, I just think that this is people grabbing at straws to try to beat Pereira. I'm going to word it this way, and you're going to appreciate this. The money coming in on Ankalaev isn't about winning bets. It's about beating
Mm.
Alex Pereira.
Mm.
Because how many people do we know personally that if I've always wanted to fade, I've always faded Alex Pereira. He's not that good. He's not that good. And what have we been doing the whole time? Betting on Alex Pereira. And
Alex
he's
Pereira by
been
KO.
sending dudes to the hospital. Okay. So ego gets in the way a lot, and especially with MMA. I think with MMA specifically, when it comes to betting, your ego gets in the way. And I spoke about this the other week. Who was it that always beats me? Oh, which fight was it? But I was like, nope, I'm not falling for it this time. Like I'm not just it was Drickus, Duplessis. Like always tried like I know he's
Being
not that
Francis
great, but he
Marshall.
keeps winning. Francis Marshall, there you go. Alex is just Alex, man. And the big problem I have is people hanging their hat on the wrestling. We saw in that Blachowicz fight, Ankalaev had no answer for the leg kicks. And it changed the whole fight. The only reason that fight is a draw is because Ankalaev was too boneheaded than to stand there and get leg kicked for 2 rounds, which nullified the rest of the fight. There's no reason that fight should have been a draw. That should have been a decision for Ankalaev, and he pissed it away. Against Johnny Walker, you got the no contest. And then he knocks out Johnny Walker. Whoopity-doo. Everybody knocks out Johnny Walker. Rakic, I think, is so overrated. I've always thought he's overrated. And he can't finish him. He goes to decision. This is Pereira's chance and the UFC's chance to get this Ankalaev thing done and then send Alex to heavyweight to fight John Jones.
Okay.
If you are going to grab one more payday from John Jones, who's it going to be against? I hate to burst everyone's bubble. It ain't Tom Aspinall, because we all know how that fight ends. It's Alex Pereira moving up. Why do you think that after John's last win, the first name that came out of his mouth was who? Alex Pereira.
Interesting.
They scheduled this fight during Ramadan. If Magomed is abiding by Ramadan, this is going to affect him. It just is. I think all the cards are stacked against Ankalaev, and it's all for Pereira from a corporate standpoint. Pereira's getting up there, but I think he's got one more in him, and I'm going to bet him one more time to get that knockout and finish this fight. And then I'm going to fade the world if he fights John Jones. I will fade him like crazy because he will get taken down. So give me Pereira by knockout. I think we go Chama one more time.
We've been making so much money off Alex Pereira.
Oh, God.
I mean,
We should have had no bets
knockout Yuri, Jamal Hill, Yuri. But here's the thing: Yuri, stand up, strike. Jamal Hill, stand up, strike. Yuri, stand up, strike. Leal, stand up, strike. Jan, gave him a little trouble, loses to Adesanya. But Ankalaev is a different puzzle, and I don't know how well Pereira's going to react to it. This is a guy this is his 7th fight in 2 years. He constantly has been taking fights to save UFC. He has. So in my mind, I'm going, is this just a little bit too much? Or is this UFC going, thank you so much for saving all these fights? Here's a guy that we know that you can get. Could you please get rid of Ankalaev for us? Because we don't like him.
Well, that's what they want. We know that's what they want, right?
Clearly, it's what they want. Yeah, you don't want Ankle. Yeah, they don't want Ankalaev as the poster boy, the poster child of UFC. That's just not gonna cut it. Yeah, it's Ankalaev by decision or it's Alex Pereira by KO. I've been making so much money on Alex Pereira. I'm a little worried about going back to the well one too many times. I want to get off a streak, before it, before it ends. I lean Pereira, but my worry about if you're betting on Pereira, here's my worry for Ankalaev. It's not that the wrestling he takes him down and submits him. My worry is that it doesn't let Pereira get into the groove. Mm-hmm. With all those stand-up strikers, he was able to stand there and figure him out. Like Jamal Hill's not shooting takedowns. Round shoot's not shooting takedowns. So Pereira can figure out the timing and the motion and everything. I just think that Ankalaev can make things a little bit weird. And can Alex Pereira stand up from the takedowns? Yeah, of course. But Ankalaev does have good top control. I don't know what Ankalaev is going to do with the judges if he's holding someone like Alex Pereira down. When gets a takedown, the crowd immediately starts yelling and screaming and
Oh, they're
booing.
going to be rabid.
And the ref is just going to be like, Ankalaev, you have 1 second to improve. Ankalaev, you have 1 second to improve your position. I know you're in full mount and you have his back, but like nobody wants to see you do this. All the cards are stacked against Ankalaev, and that's why this line makes no sense. Why is Alex Pereira not minus 200?
I think it's because people have lost their ass trying to fade Alex Pereira, and now they see the build wrestler coming in. But look, again, if Ankalaev, I asked you, how many Alex Pereira leg kicks is it going to take for Ankalaev to not be able to get takedowns?
To not get takedowns? It's going to take 10.
You think 10?
Yes.
10 leg
to
kicks.
Not get takedowns?
To the point where his leg is damaged enough to where he's not shooting doubles from across.
Yeah, he's going to eat a couple and he's going to be like, F this, I'm shooting a takedown. So
I think 3-4, the takedown is over, to be honest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm very, very high on that. That's a big hole for me.
Okay.
Big hole.
All right. I will lean Alex Pereira by KO just because I've been writing it, but I have not bet it so far, and it may take a couple cocktails on Saturday for me to have the liquid courage.
We'll get that done.
If I'm up going into that fight, I may, but I can't say that this is going to be a client release. So, all right, Parlay Buster and the woulda, coulda, shoulda. So the Parlay Buster here, if it's your first time watching, thank you, love you guys. The Parlay Buster is the parlay piece that we think everybody's going to put into their parlays, and we're here to warn you that this is going to bust parlays. And then we do the woulda, coulda, shoulda, which is the fight or the bet at the end of the night where we're like, why didn't we lay the farm on that one? So Parlay Buster. This is a not a great card for Parlay Busters, but Jim, if you had to pick a Parlay Buster, who is it?
Well, I can't pick Jalen Turner because he's an underdog now.
Yeah.
So I doubt that he'll be parlayed. Ooh. It is a really tough one. Oh, here we go. Curtis Blaydes.
Okay.
If I can't bet Turner because he's a dog, I'm going to take the next guy that makes enough mistakes on the cards. Curtis Blaydes at minus 325.
It's a laughable line, by the way. It's a laughable line.
You're insane. You're insane.
Okay.
God.
When I saw that line, I was like, wait a minute. Curtis Blaydes is my all right. I'm with you on that one. I think that's really good. For shits and giggles, I don't know if Fiziev is going to be the parlay buster, or I don't know if he's going to be the parlay piece, but I think everyone's going to be betting on him.
Okay.
And I think people are going to love Fiziev and they're going to go, oh yeah, Fiziev, I'll parlay him with, the woman's fight to start round 2 or something like that. So I'll go Fiziev as the parlay buster, even though that may be pretty lame because he's not that big of a favorite. But I think that's the one that trips people up. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'll go first with this one. Josh Van.
Really?
Oh, I think he tunes Tsuruya up.
I thought you were going to go Gaethje.
No.
I thought you were going to go Gaethje.
A road to UFC guy that lost round 3 to Carlos Hernandez and it now gets to fight Josh Van, who just beat the shit out of Cody Djorden. It's Josh Van for me. I think Josh Van is going to look like a minus 600 at the end of this fight. I don't buy the Tsuruya guy in the absolute slide. His striking is so laughable. Josh Van needs to practice a thing. In training camp.
It's the way Lee. It's the way Lee.
It's the way it's the exact thing. If you do not get taken down, you will kill this guy. This is what we're going to work on. And oh, by the way, you just got done fighting Cody Djorden. We've already been working on this. To me, it's Josh Van. That's my woulda, coulda, shoulda. What's yours?
Okay, I'm not going to take Gaethje because that was your call, and I'm a fan here. I'm going to go to the champ, man. I'm going to go to Alex Pereira. I think this fight, I think
Love it.
this card is going to end, and we're going to be sitting there going, "Can you believe we got minus 115 on Alex Pereira?"
As Ankalaev is face down on the mat.
Yeah, his leg is swollen. Just he's starving because he hasn't eaten all day. It's during Ramadan. John Jones enters the ring. They face off. You're like, oh God. Like,
Oh,
can
you're
you
talking me
believe
into
we
this.
didn't?
You're talking me into
Oh,
this.
I still got 3 days to do it.
This is a
So,
great sales pitch. Great sales pitch.
it's gonna look like one of those things where you don't read the tea leaves and you're gonna be and the whole of the Twitterverse that wanted to fade Pereira is just livid. Just livid. Again. Just like they were against Jamal Hill, just like they were against Yuri, just like they were against Jan.
I love it. I love it.
I'll
All right.
go with the champ at minus 115 odds.
That's very, very well done. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be live for UFC 13 on the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel. Jim and I will be watching the fights, giving out some live bets and predictions. Again, live bets have just been absolutely fantastic. So, thanks everybody for joining us. And don't forget, we'll have the Method of Victory video that will be out on Friday. Good luck on all your bets. Leave us a comment. Tell us who you like in this card. More importantly, tell us you like Ankalaev and Pereira. This is a polarizing main event. I feel like this is one of the more polarizing main events. But like, no one was like, "Oh, Cobb and I'm Almabayev." Can't wait.
That's the one we should have bet. It's Cobb.
Yeah, I remember where I was when Cobb beat Almabayev. So, all right. Good luck on your plays, and we'll see everyone later. Have a great
Good luck,
week.
guys.